Thank you so much for joining me on Infamous Horrors today.
Absolutely. No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, Joe, how did you get involved with Dr. Jekyll?
I worked on the idea with the writer, and we sort of we went on quite a long journey of figuring the whole thing out, and then brought in my production company and raised money and cast, and been there from the very beginning.
And how did the casting process go? Because you got the legendary Eddie Izzard to play Dr. Jekyll in this. That had to be amazing, because Eddie's performance in this is probably one of the best of his career as well. So how was it like getting him involved in the cast?
It was great. It was honestly, we had a hell of a lot of fun. Eddie is so smart and so intelligent and so creative and so, I don't know, so unpredictable. And that was the energy that I wanted for Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. It's what I always wanted. So I guess it just felt very natural, and just was a joy to have Eddie on the set every day. And we just sent the script. The casting was very easy process. We sent the script over. Eddie read it, loved it, and we met, had a few drinks, got on really well, and then went, "Yeah, great, let's do this."
And the younger cast in this is so game for this film as well. So this film, it just had to be a highlight of your career to film it. It was just so fantastic to watch.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a very stressful shoot, because we were dealing with a lot of budgetary issues. Like, we were quite low budget, and well, I say quite a lot really, and it was a very challenging shoot. But you know, with all independent movies, there are always those challenges, and you have to just enjoy what you're doing, because it's a privilege to make movies and to make any at all. And so the fact that you're able to work with talented people like Eddie Izzard and Scott Chambers, it was a joy every day. Is, with all its stresses, I was always very happy with what we were doing and what we were getting.
And you know, this is a Hammer Films production, so how did it feel to have Hammer Films back you guys on this as well?
That was wonderful. It was always that the Hammer Films of yesteryear were very much an influence on what we were doing, and so then when they joined us on the production, it just felt like a perfect marriage, because we were always trying to make that kind of movie, and so then suddenly it becomes one officially, and it becomes part of a history of cinema, a history of British cinema, that it's lovely to be part of, and it's lovely that it can sit within. You know, they're bringing out a new book on the history of Hammer, and it goes all the way through the entire history, and obviously having Dr. Jekyll in there will be very satisfying.
Right. And you know, Hammer was kind of A24 and Blumhouse back in the day when they were doing horror films. So just this project is really cool to see come to fruition. And you guys put a really fresh spin on the Dr. Jekyll aspect of it. I don't know if we can get into too many spoilers in here, but at the very end, there's like a plot twist that makes it very cool. So how was it like coming up with that idea to kind of make it a different take on Dr. Jekyll as well?
Well, we wanted look, there's like over 100 adaptations of Jekyll and Hyde, and we all know the story. Everybody knows the story. Like, whichever version you like or have seen or have read, whether you've read the novel, the novel or not, it's everybody knows it. It's such a huge thing. And so it felt like we really needed to, if we were going to do this, we needed to do something in the same vein that Hammer did when they were doing Dracula and trying to find new ways to tell stories. We wanted to tell the story of Jekyll and Hyde, or at least deal with those themes and in that timeline, in a fresh way, and because we wanted to surprise audiences. Everybody knows it's no fun if everybody knows what's going to happen. And so, we thought, let's make it so they don't know what's going to happen. It was about doing that and trying, hopefully, to give people what they expect and what they want from a Jekyll and Hyde movie, but also give them something they weren't expecting. So that was always the aim.
And with this film getting ready to come out, what do you want audiences to get from Dr. Jekyll?
I hope that they can go in and don't expect like a Blumhouse movie. Don't go in expecting something that like a certain type of movie. It's a very different type of movie. It's a strange little film. It's a slow burner. It's going to ask you to engage with it in a way which perhaps modern horror doesn't always do. And I kind of hope people go in with an open mind, and I hope they come out feeling like they've watched. I saw one of the reviews called it a romp, and I thought that's quite fun. That's it. It's a romp. It's a bit of a mad little movie, and it's just have an open mind to it, and be prepared to be able to laugh as well. It does have a wink. It does know what it is, and so just yeah.
And what was some of your favorite parts filming Dr. Jekyll as well?
Oh, I think probably the finale was a lot of fun. It was a headache because there was a lot of continuity, kind of, you know, moving around and trying to work it all out and trying to do it in sections so we could break it down a bit, but not wanting to lose the ramping up of everything. It was a complex thing, but it was over several nights actually. But it was also a lot of fun. Not for Scott, because Scott had to stand outside this door for a very long time, and it was cold, so he won't say the same. But it was fun because it included all. It was the film is building up to that moment, and it's building up to the emotional kind of moment that we have with Rob, where it's all everything that you kind of, it's been boiling away, and so letting that out and letting Eddie loose and kind of, you know, going for it. It was a lot of fun. So I'd say that it was stressful. I think it was 3-4 nights, but it was a lot of fun.
And with this film getting ready to come out on VOD, that has to be real exciting, knowing that it's going to reach a global audience, because we're finding out nowadays that audiences are watching more movies at home. Instead, you know, we'd all love to go to the theater and watch it, but with it getting a VOD release, it's going to gather that wider audience. So how exciting is that for you and the cast and crew of Dr. Jekyll?
When you make a movie of any budget level, the biggest thing that you want, the most important thing really is that people are able to watch it. People can find it, you know, and just audiences find their films, like, you know, they just do. People, friends who know what, you know, who like it will recommend it, and it's no good if it's only at a certain amount of places where you can go and see it, and if you don't live anywhere near those places, you're screwed. It's like now this modern age of VOD. Well, I always will make movies for the cinema. That's what I'm passionate about. Seeing movies in a group, in a darkened room, on a big screen. That's always the dream, and always what I'm going to make movies for. But we've got to be realistic about the size of a release that can be afforded to some films that are independent and there are small budgets. It doesn't make sense to spend 100 million marketing a film that cost less than one. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So what we want then, the priority then shifts to, well, the access. People should have access to it and be able to find it. And so then that's where the streamers and where VOD all comes into play. And everybody involved in this movie is just excited for people to be able to watch it and hopefully enjoy it.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining me at Infamous Horror today. It's been fun, and congratulations on Dr. Jekyll, and we look forward to what you have next.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.